Hey guys, John V from PhoneArena here. You're watching our video comparison between the Samsung Gear Fit and the Fitbit Flex. These two are arguably the most popular fitness tracking bands available right now. The Fitbit Flex has been around for quite some time. It retails for $100 right now, whereas the Samsung Gear Fit, it's brand new onto the scene and costs $200. So let's jump in and talk about their designs here first. Between them, there's no arguing that the Samsung Gear Fit has more of a stylish appeal just because it borrows some elements from smartwatches. It's a tribute to the unit's curved Super AMOLED display. It just has this really iridescent glow which really comes to life in the dark. Whereas with the Fitbit Flex, it favors a more reserved tone with its design. One particular area that we like the Fitbit Flex in is the wrist strap. It's just available in a wide array of different colors, more options than the Samsung Gear Fit. Obviously, the Fitbit Flex has this notion of simplicity, both from its design and its features. So it has a display, but not as extensive or elaborate compared to the Samsung Gear Fit's display. So what we have here is just when we double tap the unit, it lights up the LEDs to indicate how well we're doing with our progress. It's worth mentioning that they're both water resistant, but you get a little bit more protection with the Fitbit Flex just because it's good underwater for as much as 10 meters as opposed to the 3 feet of water that the Samsung Gear Fit can survive in. As you can probably tell from here, the modules themselves are very different in size. Due to their diminutive sizes, they both employ proprietary charging ports. The hardest thing about it is just make sure not to lose the accompanying cables that come with them. We've been using both of these fitness trackers simultaneously for close to a month now. They have their distinctive advantages. With the Samsung Gear Fit, the advantage it sees is that you could see all the information it gathers directly on the unit itself. So for example, if you want to check how many steps you've taken, all you just go to the pedometer function and of course it'll tell us right there. Whereas with the Fitbit Flex, we have to rely on an app to view all the information. With it though, in order to see our progress, we just double tap on the unit and it lights up these LED lights just to show us an estimate of how far we've progressed. We also appreciate the various smartwatch-like functionality that we have with the Samsung Gear Fit. For example, you have notifications, so if you get notifications, whether it's email, Facebook, or Twitter, you could see them all directly on the unit itself. On top of that, you have a media controller here, so whatever device you have it paired up to, you could actually control the music. And finally, you have other things included too, such as a timer and stopwatch functionality. And finally, the Samsung Gear Fit has some options when it comes to exercise, and we could choose from running, walking, cycling, and even hiking. It's nice that we have them just because it gives a little bit more accuracy to the results, whereas with the Fitbit Flex, it's all based on motion, so it's hard for it to differentiate what kind of exercise we're doing. One strange thing that we find common on both units is that if you wave your hand up and down, it believes that you're actually taking steps just because, you know, as you're walking, your hands are going side to side. So it knows how many steps you're taking, but just doing this type of motion, as we saw with the Gear Fit, it's now showing 7906, so it's increased the amount of steps that we've taken. And we see the same thing too when we check out the app with the Fitbit Flex. Even though the Fitbit Flex isn't as feature-rich compared to the Samsung Gear Fit, the thing we like about it is the Fitbit ecosystem. Now, it's worth mentioning that the Fitbit Flex is compatible to work with both iOS and Android devices, so you have a host of different devices to use it with. And on top of that, the mobile application itself is just more meaningful in the way it presents data to us. And top it off, the web portal, the one from Fitbit, is even more comprehensive. Even though it's not much, there's a social aspect attached to the Fitbit ecosystem, so you could actually compete against friends and see on a listing how well you're doing compared to them. Another area where Fitbit improves over its rival is when it comes to the sleeping aspect of the Fitbit Flex. With its application, it actually is quite useful just because unlike the Gear Fit, which just tells us how many minutes we've been sleeping and how many minutes we're motionless, Fitbit's ecosystem dives in further just because it presents us with this other graph here. It shows exactly how we're doing with our sleeping, whether we're awake, restless, or sleeping, of course. And again, we could also break it down to different time periods, a month, a week, even a yearly basis. So there's just more information for us to grasp. Okay, so with the S Health app for the Gear Fit, it presents us with all the information we'd want to find. For example, you have how many steps we've taken, amount of calories we've burned, but it even offers us some additional amenities like this coaching feature where it tries to coach us into improving our wellness, whether it's having a faster time, whether it's eating better, sleeping more. It just tries to do that. But the app itself isn't as intuitive compared to the Fitbit one, so it does come off a little bit more complicated. It really shouldn't surprise anyone that the Samsung Gear Fit is the more expensive fitness tracker here. It's at $200, whereas with the Fitbit Flex, it's half the price at $100. Therefore, if you don't need all the bells and whistles that come with the Samsung Gear Fit, the Fitbit Flex is a great option just because you're saving the money. On top of that, it has a really good ecosystem and you get more relevant information with what it compiles. Conversely, if you want to be the kind of person to stand out, you're going to get that with the Samsung Gear Fit. It's just very stylish. It really stands out in the crowd, especially in the dark. You're going to get a lot of looks from people asking you what it is. And it's just nice that you have some smartwatch functionality in tow, though when it comes to the actual, fitness portion, it's not quite as supreme over the Fitbit Flex. So if you guys want to learn more about either fitness tracker, you could check out our website, PhoneArena.com. It's John V. Thanks for watching.